Just a quick warning, this episode contains graphic language about sexual violence. Boy, you made me get up so early. You know, I got back home at 7 a.m. today. I was like, man, if I'm not here at this studio at 9:30 sharp, I'm going to hear so much shit from Claressa Shields. So I just went and laid down in my clothes. And then...
Gangster.
As a broadcast journalist, I've spent my life traveling the world and made my living interviewing the greatest fighters of all time. When boxing shut down, I finally had a chance to look around this world of conflict and could see the fight in everyone. Until this day, I talk to the greatest fighters and thinkers of our time about their fight. On Luminary, I'm Radio Rahim, till this day. When you got an appointment with greatness, the greatest of all time, you don't cancel. Today we start the first chapter in the book of Claressa Shields, the first female boxer to win a gold medal in the Olympics and the only one to do it twice, the self-proclaimed GWOAT. Chapter 1. That's how it starts. It occurs to me that you reach this milestone, quarter century, and we are of a different generation, you and I. The time when I hit 25, it was a milestone to be a black man in America, in a major city, to have lived to see 25 without a prison stretch, a felony, in my right mind, free of drug addiction, with prospects for the future. At 25, you've accomplished so much coming from Flint, Michigan, with the demographic that you carry. It couldn't have been what was expected. You're not expected to win 2 gold medals. You're not expected to be a world champion. You're certainly not expected to be a unified, undisputed, undefeated world champion. Did you have an awareness like I did of impending doom? Before you're 25, you're expected to die.
Mine was pregnant. That was the thing for people. Like, you're going to be pregnant by the time you're 16, 18. You're going to be pregnant. People did tell me that I would do jail time because of my anger when I was younger. I was around so much drug addicts and people abusing alcohol and just seen a lot of crazy things and like a lot of negative stuff that I always just told myself, like, I'm never going to be part of any of that. I learned from looking, from watching, seeing that if you do drugs, this kind of makes you act like this. If you drink, you can't control yourself and it can cause you to be in jail or your anger to be all out of control. I knew I'd be successful at something growing up. I played basketball, I ran track, I played volleyball, softball, I ran cross country. I kind of just threw myself into school, into sports. And then when I found boxing, that kind of just all I think about, all I did. I seen that some of my friends and people close to me in school got shot and killed. All I wanted to do was be the meanest, toughest, smartest female boxer in the world. I didn't care about having my hair done. I didn't care about shaving my underarm. But now I'm 17. I'm getting ready to go to the Olympics. I'm seeing, example, Marlena Esparza and Queen Underwood getting endorsements and sponsorships and all this stuff. And I'm like, I box better than both of them. What's going on? It couldn't have been because I wasn't a better boxer, because I proved that. And I'm quite sure everybody with eyes seen that. But when you seen the endorsements and sponsorships, Queen and Marlene had it all, right? I used to ask myself, what's different about me? Then that's when we go into this world of beauty and how you talk and where you from and how you dress. Are you a role model or are you just an athlete? If I was a white girl with the same attitude that I had at the age of 17, I wouldn't have had any sponsorships still. I don't think it would have mattered. I started changing up everything and taking care of myself, hair and all this stuff and clothes and being a role model. Then when I got 21, I had loads of sponsorships, loads of endorsements going into my second Olympics. Mm-hmm. I still wouldn't have had any sponsorships being a white girl. You know what I'm saying?
Because of your attitude?
Yeah, because I didn't care about sponsorships or endorsements. I cared about boxing. I was 17 years old. I cared about what my heart wanted. And my heart was like, can I still box the same with messed up hair? Yes. Can I still punch fast and knock girls down with hairy underarms? And yeah, it didn't matter to me. I thought if a network wants to work with the beast, like myself, you work with me. That's what I thought, but come to find out people were kind of intimidated, I guess.
Well, those first 17 years, you talked about having these anger issues and being so aggressive at such a young age. What's a kid got to be mad about? What are you so angry about so early?
What didn't I have to be angry about? I mean, when I look back now, I'm so happy that I've got God in my life to help me deal with that stuff. But people don't know that I didn't start talking until I was 5. And I probably stuttered for another 4 years after that. So I had a very bad speech impediment. I got bullied. I was raped at the age of 5. I've been molested. My mom was abusing alcohol at the time, and she was just having to grow up in a household like that. I went through a lot of verbal abuse. You know, you can't fight your mom. Then I can't express how I feel because I couldn't talk. And I got bullied and I got talked about. So growing up, I just was like, I don't like nobody. I don't want nobody talking to me. I don't want to talk to nobody. I just want to be left alone and do sports.
Right. Now, obviously, this is a personal and sensitive subject where you raised it. We can talk about it only to the extent that you're comfortable. Being 5 years old, you can't possibly conceive of it at the time. Is this something that you remember? What in your mind was happening as a 5-year-old?
I actually remember everything that happened because when people say that they got raped, they kind of just like, oh, I got raped one time. And the guy, you know, I told my mom and she came and took care of it and stuff like that. But I got raped multiple times by the same man. It wasn't something that happened one time. And that caused me to not like men growing up, which kind of played in my favor because of the sport I did and supposed to be pregnant by 16. But I couldn't be pregnant by 16 because I hadn't had sex till I was 17 and a half. After experiencing what I experienced. In the time that it was happening, I really couldn't talk. I just knew I wanted it to stop. I just didn't know how to express that to my family and my friends, but my family around at the time. One of my aunties, I went to her house on my dad's side. Her name was Aunt Mary, and my dad was in prison. I was 5, and I went over there, spent about 2 weeks over there, met my cousins and everything, and he came to pick us up. The guy that had been doing the things to me. And I just started like just crying and screaming. And I never done that. My aunt was like, oh, wait a minute. You know, why is she scared of you? Because I had been around my cousins and everybody for about 2 weeks and I hadn't given my auntie not one problem. But now when it came to getting in the car with him and going back with him, it's like my 5-year-old self was like, oh, it's finally over. I don't have to deal with this man no more. And now in 2 weeks after I've had this, to me, a great life. I get to spend time with my aunts and my cousins and we're riding bikes and we're being kids, but now I have to go back to where this guy is doing stuff to me. So I started screaming and crying and I grabbed Brianna's hand, my little sister, because I was like, she's not going back with him either. And so he was trying to like grab us and make us get in the car, but I was just screaming and stuff and I was grabbing Brianna and my aunt was like, you know what, I'll drop her off. You can go. I'll drop her off later. And my aunt just looked at me and she took me in the room and she asked me what happened. And once again, I can't talk. So she gave me a doll and I was able to show her everything that he had been doing to me. And like, I'm 5. So at the time, I didn't watch no sexual movies or nothing like that. So for me to show her the things that he was doing, she kind of helped me through it because I really couldn't talk, you know, but I just showed her everything that he had been doing to me. And from there, that's when I moved in with my grandmother till I was about 9.
Were there repercussions for him? I mean, this is obviously an in-family.
I just know that some of my anger came from not being able to see my siblings for those couple years and me feeling like my mom chose her guy over me. So that kind of made me be mad at her. And my grandma, you know, was telling me like, you know, your mama don't believe you, but I believe you. The guy, my mom stayed with him for a couple years and then they separated or whatever. But me and my mom never had a conversation about what actually happened when I was 5 until I was 17.
What about your sister? I mean, you know what it is. Were you already at the age of 5 in a role, you just protected her in that moment? Did that continue to be what your relationship was like?
Yeah, I always protected my sister, still to this day. At the age of 5 through 9, I stayed with my grandmother. I feel like that's the difference between us. You know, I went to school from her house. I probably went and visit my mom only a few times, but he wasn't around. Or they would come over to my grandma's house. But it was like, I could see how me and my sister started being different. I was like, had manners and I would talk a certain way. But my sister was just kind of like, you can tell she was like kind of raising herself a little bit. Mm-hmm. It just got to her age, she was like 13 and maybe I moved back in and, you know, she just felt like I thought I was better than her or she always got overlooked because of me. And I never seen it like that. To me, she's my road dog, but to her, everybody always look down on her, but then like look up to me. So it's kind of weird. I try to keep a relationship with her, but she got some secret stuff against me for whatever her reasons are. We like night and day. I always tell people like who I am inside the ring is who she is every day. And that's just how I see it. Like she fight in the streets. She got a lot of anger and she can fight. I wish she would get into boxing. I could teach her. Whoever I am inside the ring, just without the discipline, that's who she is every day.
In that moment, protecting yourself, protecting your sister is really the first time as an individual you stand up for yourself. You made a decision, I'm not going back with him. You made a decision, my sister is not going back with him. Did a thing that some adults take years and years to have the courage to do. Did it make you mature beyond your years? Did you appreciate, I'm making a life choice now, right then and there?
I wasn't thinking about like life decisions or whatever. I didn't know what would happen after that. I really didn't think about what was the best outcome, what was the worst outcome. You know, it's better than just going back with him and experiencing it. I have to do something. I think that kind of made me be like an action person throughout my life. I was getting bullied in the 2nd grade because I still couldn't really talk that well. And the kids would pick on me and they'll take my work and ball it up. That's kind of when I decided, like, you know what? I'm going to do something about it. If these kids want to keep bullying me, I'm going to fight every last one of them. And that's when my fighting journey started.
You let your hands do the talking.
Yeah. I really couldn't talk. So that's the only thing that could talk for me was my hands. So I would fight boys, girls. I even tried to slam a teacher for trying to break up a fight. I was kind of wild.
When you say you couldn't talk, do you mean because of speech impediment? Or was it an emotional hindrance of you not being able to communicate? What do you mean you couldn't talk?
When I used to get real angry and I try to get everything out and I'm talking really fast, but I'm stuttering, I didn't know how to separate my words and I did not know how to stop stuttering. So it was like, took about 10 seconds to get out the word what. And I couldn't really say R's and M's. Like the word remember or rubber band or words with W used to just mess me up. Like I could not say them. It would be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And so trying to communicate to people and nobody was understanding me after I would say it, it was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm about to just start swinging and I'm finna start throwing stuff and I'm about to start tearing up paper. I'm about to start crying. Like, you guys are going to understand. If you don't understand anything else, you're going to understand that I'm fucking upset.
How did you overcome that? You speak quite well now. I've never known you to stutter once. Like, in fact, I think you actually said, did I stutter? In a few interviews, we were talking about calling out one girl or another. You've overcome that in tremendous fashion, but how?
My mom signed me up for a speech impediment class when I was 2nd grade. After school or during school, I would go and spend 30 minutes with the lady. She would have me write. That's where my love for writing came from. And as I write things down, she'll tell me to think the word, write the word, say the word. Mm-hmm. And I did that for about a whole year or two. I think her name was Lanika Wise. That was my teacher. He was saying, like, you know how to talk. You just got to separate the words. Take your time. And before you talk, think.
You're not able to express yourself in 2nd grade, 3rd grade. You're dealing with serious trauma. The stigma in the Black community is psychological evaluation and therapy are taboo.
growing up, boxing was my therapy. All the anger I had inside of me, punching the bag, sparring, getting hitting somebody, that was therapeutic for me. That's where my confidence got built at. Not just that I was a good boxer, but that I look good. You know, that, okay, I got nice muscles. I got a nice face. I'm good at something. I'm building myself up and I got a future. That started building my confidence. Boxing did. I'm in therapy now, but I never had therapy growing up.
At a young age, you talked about fighting and being bullied and all this. You're still street fighting your classmates, bare knuckle brawling, if you will. If you had seriously injured somebody, if, God forbid, you had killed somebody, that would dramatically change the trajectory of your life.
Yeah.
If you're beating up teachers and whatnot, you're on a bad road. These things don't end well. What was the transition from beating people up in the street in the classroom and having to express yourself that way and finding this sport that gave you an opportunity to express yourself in a healthy way?
Yeah, I started boxing when I was 11. I haven't really been in a street fight since I was about like 13.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think everything through. Everything has consequences. You still go to jail if you kill somebody, whether you drunk or not. You still go to jail, kill somebody because you're mad, sad, whatever your reasons are, you're going to fucking jail. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I never fought because I wanted to fight. It was never that. It was always defending myself or wanting people to stop messing with me. I never started nothing.
Mm.
Even in women's boxing now, I don't start nothing. Them girls are talking shit to me first. When they start, I finish it. At 11, I seen that boxing made me feel good. So I kept going. You know, even though it was a guy here and there who would say, oh, boxing isn't for women, or for girls. And I just kind of was like, if this makes me feel this good, I'm not going to let you, loser boy, tell me that boxing isn't for girls. Boxing isn't for you. I see the way that you train and you talk a lot. So you need to go over there and work on your jab. You know? So 11, I'm like, oh, I love this. And then I had my first fight when I was 12. And then I was 3-0 with 3 KOs.
But wait, you just walk into a boxing gym randomly one day? How do you end up in the gym in the first place?
Crazy. I was kicking lots of ass 5th grade. 8th graders, 7th graders, high schoolers, beating them down. I got an older brother who was 4 years older than me, and me also kind of mentally unstable, going through like schizophrenia and bipolar, whatever. So having that brother, he's getting into fights and he's beating up girls' boyfriends. And when the girls would be like,
you said you beat up my boyfriend, where's your sister?
And they only knew of my brother having one sister, which was my sister Brianna,
right,
who was 1.5 years younger than me. These girls come up to our school and he's with them. And then the girl looking like,
oh, where your sister at?
And then my brother like, both of them my sister. Of course you want to fight the shorter one who look younger, right?
Right.
And they go,
I want to fight her.
and I step in front of my sister like, psh.
Please. Okay, you came to fight one of your sisters. Well, I'm the oldest one. She 9 and I'm 10.
What's up? And this girl about 14, 15, and she like, all right. So she looking, you know, she a little bigger, got a little bit meat on her. And she starts swinging. I pick her up, slam, pow! And after that, on top of her, beating her up. We get back up, we standing up again, running the fist with her, beating her up, and her nose start bleeding. I grab her hair, start hitting her again. We go to the office, she crying, I'm like, so it just was like, what the heck? So this happened a lot. My brother always messing with somebody, or my sister Brianna messing with somebody, and here I come having to hold the weight for the family. So 5th grade is when I was really fighting, and my mom was like, you need to get your anger together. And I just was like, they shouldn't piss me off, okay?
Uh-huh.
I had a best friend named Eddie. He betted me that I couldn't do 6 inches for 1 minute. So you lay on your back, you put your hands under your butt, and you put your feet up 6 inches.
Oh, 6 inches. Oh.
Yeah.
It's
an ab burner for sure. And he like, I bet you can't do this for 1 minute. Well, we betting. He said, $10. I said, okay. Got on my back, put my hands under my butt, stayed there, hold my breath. Got to about 20 seconds, I go, drop my feet. He said, you won't last a week in boxing. Because he was boxing at Bursting at the time.
Uh-huh.
And I said, how much you on to bet I come up there to Bursting and I bet you I'll last more than a week? He like, you can't do that for 1 minute. You ain't gonna last in boxing, not even 1 week. I bet you 10. So I already lost 10. Now I'm betting the 10 again.
Double or nothing.
The next year, I'm staying back with my grandmother, 6th grade. It's the summertime. I'm walking to the store, and I see Eddie in front of Burston. Then he come running across the street. We hadn't seen each other in a whole year because I moved from my mom with my grandma. So I hadn't seen him for a while. And he's like, yeah, that's where I box at, yada, yada, boxing. I'm like, oh, okay. So instantly the bet came in my head. And then a couple days later, I was talking to my dad, and he was just venting to me about life. And he said, if I would have stuck to what I was passionate about, I would have never went to jail. I asked my dad, well, what were you passionate about? He said boxing. And then he told me his nickname was Cannonball. He used to underground street fight. And he said he felt like if I want to went to prison, I would have got to fight with Sugar Ray Leonard. So my dad telling me all this stuff. And I'm like, I love my dad so much. He like, I wish somebody in our family would have picked up the sport because he said he taught all of my cousins how to fight. After that, I had just seen Eddie, this conversation with my dad. Something is telling me I should do this for my dad. My dad can't box anymore. I should box for him. So I asked my dad, can I box? He tell me, hell no. Boxing is a man's sport. That's what he said. And I just was like, no, he did not just say that. And then he said, you're too pretty to box. And I said, what are you talking about? Like, my nose was so big when I was younger. My face was so little. I'm like, I didn't even think I was cute back then. So I'm like, Dad, no. That's not a good reason for you to say I can't box. And he just was like, that's it. It's final. And so I didn't talk to my dad for a couple days. He can't pick me up from school. I'm like, I'm not getting in the car with you. I'm walking home. And he like, get in the car. We get in the car. We ride past my house. Dad, I don't even want to see you. You told me no. Like, drop me off. And he just was like, shut up. Enjoy the ride. We get to his house. It's an intervention. His wife, him, her 2 kids, my sister Tiffany, and they all vote on if he should let me box or not.
Oh, wow.
And that was when I won my first fight, really, by majority or unanimous decision because he voted no. Everybody else voted yes. My dad put the $60 down. He said, when I pay this $60, that's how much was the box for the year. He said, you cannot quit for a whole year. My dad thought I would just get beat up and quit. That's what he thought. He didn't know me at all.
To think a child in all that darkness found a light at the end of the tunnel, saw that light and thought, that could be me. I could be this light. I can shine through this darkness and get to the end of this tunnel. That's admirable. That's something to strive for. That's a child that could shine a light for all of us. Boxing is a poor man's sport, full of hard luck stories. The difference between the names we know and the ones we forget are the few who can channel that pain into triumph. Chapter 2, let your hands go. Oh my God, so you're in the gym now, you got $60 paid, you got to fight for at least a year, plus you got 10 riding on it, you know what I mean? How quickly did you know the street fighting and then there's boxing? When did you realize that this discipline required a different skill set than you had been exhibiting in 5th grade?
The first week, I'm like, this is different. You have to run, do push-ups, crunches, and then you're being taught. I knew how to fight. I never could recall what I was doing when I was fighting. Like, I could slam a girl and tell you I did this and that, but I can't tell you what I was actually doing. The first week, only punch I threw was a jab. That's it. I'd be on there 2 hours on this wall. It's called the wall drill. And when they would say go, I would jab, jab. Bring your hand back to your face. Twist it out, jab, jab. Keep the right hand up. Don't bring the right hand out, jab. And it got to a point that when the week was over, or even just that session was over for 2 hours, my arm felt like it was going to fall off. And I was like, damn, this shit is hard. But it was like a pleasure kind of pain type thing for me. It was like, oh, it hurts, but it feels great. One day, the next week, Jason Crutchfield came over there. And I had been learning the other stuff too. Like, I'm very observant. So he hadn't even showed me the counts. Like, it's like 2 count, 3 count, 4 count, 5 count, 5 count, all the way through 10. He was calling the counts. And he hadn't taught me them. I just was going off of what I saw. Only thing I knew how to do at this time was jab. That's it. So now he got us on the wall. He's calling these counts that I shouldn't even know. But I know them because I've been watching him work with the other guys. So he's calling 5 special, 2 jabs right here. I'm throwing it the best of my ability from what I see them doing. And he just was like, ooh, you come over with me. Now I've advanced to is working with first J.W. Walker, who showed us the jab, to working with Jason, who's the head coach at the gym. You're good enough to come with me now. Like, I've been elevated. I've been promoted. Right?
Quickly.
So now I'm working with Jason. And Jason is showing me all the counts. He's teaching me how to move my head. He's showing me how to throw a body shot correctly. That's what kind of messed me up with boxing. When I went pro, people kept saying, oh, she's not skilled. She's all power. And it's like, majority, 90% of my boxing are skills. I was taught how to box. All my meanness and heart, that's just in me. But I really was taught how to box. So when I hear people say, oh, she don't know how to move her head or she don't have defense, when I was hearing that shit, I said, are these people crazy? Like, are they smoking something? Did they watch the Olympics where I was moving my head and stuck my tongue out? I started working with Jason. I got a lot better. And the first time I sparred with a kid who had been antagonizing me for 2 months. Every time I seen this guy in the gym, who's my guy now, I love him to death. But every time I seen him in the gym, he would say, me and you around the same size. Me and you gonna spar. I'm gonna make you quit. He said it for 2 months every day. Every day. Oh, you don't know who you fucking with, young man. Don't even know. But I paid so much attention to him, I probably was like a stalker. Because while we at the gym and Jason telling me to throw our combination and throw our punches, I would be watching him walk around the gym, laugh and talk with everybody, playing around. And I'm like, he not even working. Don't even know that I'm getting ready for him. That's the one I want his head. He don't even know. So every day at the gym, I seen him, he just talking. I'd be like, there he go again. 2 jabs, uppercut. 2 jabs. I'm hitting the bag. I'm making sure I throw it right, hands up. And I make sure I do everything right just for this man.
He's just like a deer in the sights. You got him in the scope, and he don't
was
even
so
know.
happy every day just training. I'm just like, man, he don't even know. Then all of a sudden, 2 months came, and Jason said, let's go get ready. I said, get ready for what? He said, you sparring. I said, for real? He said, go in there if I change my mind.
This is your first sparring session?
Yeah.
Is him?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So before he changes his mind, you go get ready.
I go get ready. We get in the ring. Darian just, he's so happy. He like, yep. Remember what I told you? He come and get his head girl. Like,
I'm not gonna take it easy on you because you're a girl. Like, I'm gonna make you quit today. Watch.
We go in there first round. I was kind of timid. I go in there, I just kind of get close to him and I look at him. First punch he hit me with was a right hand, right to my nose. My eyes got watery, and then before you know, I just was like, Hawk smash. I got so mad, I just started swinging as fast and hard as I could at him, chasing him around the ring, just hitting him. I got him in the corner. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I was going crazy for that 1 minute. All of a sudden, the bell rang. I went back to the corner. Jason, when I was mad, I was like, I was breathing hard. He said,
calm down.
I said, I'm going to kill him. It's on now. He just like,
boxing is the smartest fighter to win the fight.
He said,
you faster than him. I want you next round go out there, use your jab. That's all I want next round.
I said, one hand. He said,
use your jab. You see the right hand open, you throw it, but you was kind of going crazy last round. Give me the jab. Listen to me. You gonna listen to me?
I'm just like, okay. He said,
take a deep breath, drink some water.
When our next round, I walked up to him, drank that same right hand. I just kind of jumped back, jab. I hit him with the jab whenever I wanted to. I ain't have to use the right for real. Jab. Then I seen he did something. Jab, right hand. You know, so it was like, whoa. And I seen the right hand kind of, then this granddad.
That's the girl, what are you doing?
You know, so we boxing. Like I said, Jason taught me the counts, but I didn't know like the name of punches and stuff yet. So we went 3 rounds a day. So that round when he like.
Good round, Rex. That's how you do it. Stay calm, think.
And I could just see his face was like, this weird excitement, like he was kind of freaking a little bit. So then, yeah, he's like,
man, this is crazy.
So he like,
all right, next round, I want you to throw the hook.
and he said,
1, 2, you're gonna pull yours right back, make this hand the L. You can catch it with the hook. When he jab, I want you to slip to the left and come back with the hook.
so he got in front of me, he threw his jab at me, and I slipped the wrong way at first. He hit me. So instead of going away from the punch, he said, I want you to come in the punch. So he jabbed, I slipped to the left, and he says, you're gonna pull this shoulder back and come back with the hook. So now it's like, in order to do that, I cannot be mad. I can't be just fighting off emotion. I gotta be calm. And so I'm sitting here trying to be calm as best I can be. I was now don't get me wrong, I was excited. This guy been antagonizing me for 2 months, and I get to box him, and he's a boy. Oh, I'm lifted. I'm over the top at this moment. So now I hear my coach saying,
good job, you're doing good.
keep it going the third round. He come out there, he got to get his respect back because everybody watching. I'm the only girl in the gym. His granddad, his uncles, his cousins, and everybody is there. He got to kick my ass this last round, or else he's about to get flamed every day in the gym. He came in there last round with that fire, trying to do some stuff. All I did was slip to the left, come back with the hook, shook him up. Then I started putting the hook with the right hand just me thinking like, if I can throw the hook, I can get the right hand. So I'll slip the jab, hook right hand, jab, jab. Then I just do whatever I want in there. And then last round, and then after we fight, coach say,
all right, now give me sugar.
and I went to give Darian a hug, and Darian was like, and it just like, I sparred for the first time and I won. So this guy come and tell me while I'm hitting the bag, and Jason like,
Leave her alone, like let her work.
and I'm hitting the bag still. And Jason must turned around, and the guy tapped me again. I said, what?
Mm-hmm.
He just was like,
Is you a boy or girl?
I said,
I'm a girl. Get out my face.
and it was about 10, 15 grown men over there. They was going crazy.
They didn't know?
Yeah, because my hair was in a fro. I had on a baggy shirt. Like, I was not feminine at all. And I was like, had like that look of like all the time. Like, I was always mad. I always looked mad anyway.
Right.
And I wore baggy shorts, my hair in the fro, I'm sweaty, big shirt, tennis shoes. Like, they didn't know.
See, he could have got away with getting beat up by a girl and nobody would have known.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, if I wanted to say it, get out my face, I'm a girl. So then everybody was just like,
Yo, man, she hard.
this and that. And Jason can tell everybody, leave her alone, man. Let her work. Let her work. So I just was like, I guess I'm good at this. But that's when I knew boxing was different. He told me the smartest boxer win. When I thought it was who punched harder, who punched faster. And he's like, no, the smartest boxer wins. Some people you're not going to be faster than, you're not going to be stronger than. At the time, I wasn't stronger than the guy I was sparring. He had been boxing since he was 6 years old. We're 12 now.
Right.
So I've been boxing for 2 months. He been boxing for 6 years. And he had 40, 30 fights at the time.
Oh, my.
And I only had 0. And this is the first me ever getting inside the ring. I'm looking at stuff like that. I'm like, man, I guess I'm pretty good.
How did he deal with that? Did he quit? Did he keep boxing?
No, he kept boxing. He kept boxing.
Okay. And you guys ultimately became friends.
We were friends then.
Oh.
Not really. He was more of a bully. But after that sparring session, we're on the same team. So I cheer for him when he fight. He cheered for me when I fight. We try to give me boxing advice. We were cool. We were teammates. I call him my cousin now because we've known each other for so many years. He's lived with me in Florida before when I was living down there. We just really, 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 really close. I tell everybody the story. He know I got to tell everybody. But he has been such a big help to me as far as in sparring, still to this day. He's bigger than me now, way stronger than me. But he still comes to spar with me, to work with me. He was my main sparring partner for the fight with Hammer. Him and Andre Durrell.
Yeah.
They both came and sparred me so many times. I went 8 rounds with Andre Durrell a week before I fought against Hammer. Big help. And same thing with Darian. I went 10 rounds with him, 8 rounds with him. We're like family, solid family. But I tell everybody the story because it's meant to be told.
Now you're 11, 12, you found your passion. You recognize this is something not only that you can do, but you enjoy doing. How is that affecting you outside the gym and your mental wellness?
I couldn't get mad no more. It was so weird. It was like stuff that used to piss me off. Now I just be looking at people like, y'all is so stupid. You know, and I start using writing to express myself so I really wouldn't have to cuss nobody out. That would lead to a fight. But when I started boxing, only stuff that happened in the gym could affect me. Darian beat me up one time in sparring. A couple times, actually. But this time I remember vividly. My grandma had just died, and I didn't want to box no more. I can't do this to my grandma. I don't even care anymore. Jason wasn't having that, and I wasn't really, I was just upset. I'm like, man, like.
And how old are you at this point?
15.
Okay.
Those 15 to 17 years, it wasn't tough for me. It was tough for everybody that had to kind of deal with me. I can say that. About 2 weeks later, me and Darian are sparring. I haven't been to the gym. And I'm so used to just going in there and having my way with Darian that now I'm like, I got to spar. I didn't feel like doing it. I went in there half-assed in it. And Darian kicked my ass this day. Probably bust my lip.
You're probably waiting to do that.
Oh, man, he busted my lip. He was talking shit to me. He would hit me with a jab and say, what's up? Because, you know, like when you say what's up to somebody, you be like, you know, you kind of put your head up.
Yeah.
And he hit me with the jab, like, I made you say what's up. Bow, what's up? And I was like, I was so mad. I was like, man, this is crazy. What's going? So he hit me with body shots. I'm trying to do my little thing back. I'm not totally getting destroyed, but if this was a fight, he would be winning. And we go out 3-4 rounds. And after the round, Jason said after every sparring session, you know, give me some sugar. And I go and give Darren a hug. And then he go to say,
now that's the ass whooping for your ass right there.
who the fuck is he talking to? And like my anger just went, phew. I grabbed the chair, tried to throw a chair at him. And then Jason like, Rex, you can't do that. He grabbed me and took me. And it's like this staircase. I go upstairs. He told me to sit under the stairs. And I sat there, I was breathing so hard, I was crying. And he just was like, you gotta calm down. He said, you all right now? Fist balled up tight. I was crying. He said, this is sparring. This not a fight. Don't take it so personal, it's sparring. You know how many times you done beat him up and he get you one good time and you in here crying like a little baby having a temper tantrum. He said, get your attitude together. I know you're going through a lot, but you gotta get your attitude together. And I was just so mad. That's when my anger was kind of like, boxing would piss me off. If I had a bad day at the gym, if I didn't beat them in races, if I didn't feel like I had a good fight and I performed well, it would really just bother me. It would bother me. I didn't have many of those days, but when I did, I felt like if I lost in boxing, it reminded me of how I was losing at everything else. 15 years old, I didn't have a bed. My mom was still abusing alcohol. My sister was running wild. I couldn't provide for my family. I couldn't pay my phone bill. I didn't have clothes and shoes. I constantly had to defend myself in school to bullies and also defend other kids from bullies. I feel like only place I was winning at was boxing. So when I lost there, I'll lose at everything.
We're not talking sparring sessions anymore after 15. We're talking police athletic league championships. You're really now on your way to an amateur boxing career. At this stage, do you have an eye towards the Olympics?
Yes. At the age of 13, my goal became to win the Olympics. My grandma knew about it. My mom knew about it. Everybody in my family and who was close to me boxing knew. In 4 years, she planned on going to the Olympics. Only thing me and Jason ever talked about was getting ready for Olympics, was me fighting the women's division when I turned 16 years old. But we also always had a question like, are you even going to be old enough to go to the Olympics? Because 2011, I was still 16. I didn't turn 17 till 2012 in March. The Police Athletic League, the tournament we're talking about, the first paper I saw said you had to be 17 by October 3rd, 2011. I was 16. So that means I could not fight the open division, which was 17 through 34. That's the first paper I signed. That's when I felt like my Olympic dreams was crushed. I fought the Silver Gloves 3 months before that. The president of USA Boxing at the time, he told me, Claressa, 2012 is not for you. He said, you're too young. Don't get married. Don't have kids. And I'll see you in 2016. That's what he said to me. And I said,
you were 16 years old
16
at the
years
time.
old. And I said, so I can't go to the Olympics. He's like, you're too young. That same day, Evander Holyfield watched me win the Silver Gloves on TKO the girl 45, 50 seconds. Franchon Cruz was also there. I was able to meet her. She thought I didn't know her. I did my homework on everybody. You know, you're ranked number 1. I was supposed to be seeing you in the Olympics, but I guess I'm too young. So good luck. I went and talked to Evander Holyfield, and I told him, like, yeah, I think I'm going to just either quit boxing or turn pro. And he just, like, why you do that? I'm like, he said I was too young to go to the Olympics, so there's not really anything in women's boxing right now, and I can't live like this for another 4 years. I think I'm just going to quit and probably going to find me a job or something. And he said, no, don't turn pro without winning an Olympic gold medal. Just keep boxing. Evander Holyfield told me to pray about it, too. He said, God can work miracles. But I talked to Evander Holyfield for about 30 minutes about everything. What was going on in my life, how I was living, you know, how the Olympics meant so much to me, how I've been putting everything on hold for just the Olympics. I'm doing everything right by God. And he said, don't turn pro without winning an Olympic gold medal. That's what he said. So after this, on our ride home, I'm telling Jason, like, well, you said after the Olympics that I could date whoever I wanted. But now, since there's no Olympics, we need to compromise.
Wait, you could date whoever you wanted?
Yeah, so the guy who I was in a relationship with at the time was at the gym. And Jason would say, no dating until after you win the Olympics. After
no
that,
dating anybody in the gym or no dating?
He didn't want me dating, period. Like, I could date if he didn't know about it, but if he knew the guy, he's like, no.
Right.
We're on our way home. I'm talking to him. I'm like, well, we need to compromise. I compromise what? I ain't compromising. Well, you said I could date whoever I wanted after I won the Olympics. So there is no Olympics. So what we gonna do? You don't need no boyfriend race. I'm like, me and Rail like each other. No, he's not strong-minded enough for you. You know how dads are.
Right.
You know, that's not for you to decide. I want to be with him. All of a sudden, I go to school one day. He called me. He like, hey, go to this website and print out this paper and have your parents and them sign it. I'm like, what is for? He like, just read it and then call me back. So I printed this paper off. I printed about like 3-4 copies. And I'm reading it. And it say, you know, must be 16 by April 21st, 2012. And I was like, what the fuck? Hold on. I was about a month and a half old enough to fight in the open division for the last qualifier for the Olympic trials. I couldn't believe it. I ran around the whole school with this paper, just smiling and laughing like, God is giving me a chance. Yes. Oh, I was so lifted. I signed that paper, took it to Jason. We got back to training. I didn't care about no boy then. I don't care.
Bro was like, damn it.
It's a wrap. Hey, I love you, but can't be saying I love you the week of the fight, my guy. I don't want to hear no lovey-dovey stuff. You want to listen to music, all gangster music. Like, I'm about to conquer the world. Let's go.
Inevitably, honing your craft and living your life will be at odds with each other. How you reconcile the two, that plots your course for success or failure. Chapter 3, Broken Records.
We go to the Olympic trials. I fight against this girl ranked number 1 in the world, Andresia Watson, at 150 pounds. She's from Pontiac. I heard she's been breaking girls' neck, all this stuff. I beat her up so bad, her mama called me a bitch while we were in the ring fighting. So I know that was an ass whooping. And even after the fight, I had beat her fair and square. We got out the ring. She walked up to me, got the belt on my shoulder. And she like, congrats on beating me or whatever, but I got something to say. And I was like, what? And she like, that'll be the only gold medal you ever get over me. And I had the belt and I tried to hit her with it. Just tripping. You know, just like my anger was like, what you just say to me? I grabbed the belt, and the good thing my coach was right there because he like, rest, no. And I'm like, I'm going to fuck you up again. I see you. The Olympic trials is right around the corner. So now October through February, I'm training so crazy. I'm running 3 miles one day, 2 miles the next. I'm getting the mileage in. I'm sparring. I'm feeling it. I'm in shape. I was just over the top. Man, I'm like, I get to go to the Olympic trials. It's a double elimination tournament. The number 1 girl there, number 2, number 3. I'm fucking smoked. And all of a sudden, here we are, the Olympic trials, pulling our balls out of a cup to see who we gonna fight. I pull out Franchon Cruz, number 1 girl.
This is your first fight for the trials. You gotta fight the number 1 girl.
Mm-hmm. That's what I wanted, though.
You were hoping it would be Franchon?
Yes. Whoever number 1 was, I was hoping it was, I was hoping it was her. My mom said, always fight the loudest mouth person and the biggest person. Either one of those two out of the group or shut the whole group down. So Franchon was a top dog. You beat her, the rest of them will flee. She saw me fight against a 16-year-old girl, TKO'd her in 45 seconds. And after the fight, people were telling Franchon, oh, she gonna be in your league soon. But Franchon was a lot older, so she was like, man, she ain't never been hit by no grown woman. This was at the Silver Gloves.
Wow. And how old is she?
I was 16. She probably about 25. She's older.
So she was a grown woman. She's as old then as you are now.
Yep. Man, don't be coming up to me talking about no little Silver Glove amateur. I'm ranked #1 in the country. She walked up to me. She was like, young girls like y'all inspired me to keep doing better. I'm going to the Olympics. I'm like, you ain't going to the Olympics yet. You got to win the Olympic trials.
Boxing is allowing you to deal with the anger issues, and you had to trust in those things. But being through what you've been through, I would imagine that trusting in people has got to be a challenge. You have this focus. You got Franchon in front of you. The Olympics is on the line. This is the dream. This is the whole thing. How are your trust issues with your support team?
My support team at this time was Jason. That's it.
That's the whole team.
That's the whole squad. I trusted him with my life. He fed me. He sheltered me. He gave me advice. He taught me how to cut my pancakes with a knife and a fork so I wouldn't be folding them in half with syrup. That was my support system. And nobody else's support mattered to me.
You have a one-man team. Everybody's on board with this? Are you getting positive reinforcement from the people around you?
My dad was supporting me. I talk to my sister before every fight. If she's not there, she's me inside the ring every day. So she not the one calling with, hey, you ready? You feel okay? She calling like, remember where you from. Remember, you a beast. Flint Town all day. You whoop bitch's ass. That's my sister. Oh, what you gonna do to her? Hey, if you don't beat her ass, I'm beating your ass. That's my sister. You know what I'm saying? So when I get that phone call from her, it's that reassurance of don't forget where you from. When she come with that energy, it remind me that's who I am. That's who I'm about to be right now at 100%. Clarenzo was coming out the closet.
And you recognize this moment with Franchon. It's the biggest fight of your life.
At the time, yes.
This is the first domino, as you put it. And you gotta beat this girl.
I knew I was gonna beat her.
No doubt.
No doubt. We was getting ready to walk out. We was in the same tunnel. And she was saying, she trashed already. She trashed already. And Jason was heated. What you calling trash? I'm like, Coach.
Now you calming him down.
Yep. Got to. Coach, we already know what's about to happen. He was kind of... And I'm like, what are you worried about? I don't know. I can't lose. I would literally put my life on the line before I lose. You got to kill me in here. I go around the ring. I'm prancing. I see her turn my back, prancing around again, do my little stretch, put my headgear on. And after that, I don't know what goes on. I just know I feel like I'm taller, I'm bigger, I'm stronger. From there, I look across the ring and I'm like, I'm about to beat her so bad. I'm zoned out. Everything outside the ring is black. I can't even see nothing. Only thing I can hear is Jason, and I can see my opponent. I never even knew that we had a ref inside the ring. I'd be so zoned out. To me, it's me and you. I really used to think what's the ref in here for? We're just gonna fight. But you gotta regulate stuff or whatever. Thank God for refs. All right. I could tell she's a little stronger than me. I'm kind of skinny at this time. So I looked at her. I'm like, yeah, she got muscle, but my legs are bigger than hers. Her upper body was bigger than mine. So we're kind of opposite of each other. And we go out there. I was more of like a basic boxer. I throw better combinations than many people in the sport of boxing. My combinations
Male or female.
Male or female. My combinations are filthy. Therefore, when you throw a punch, I see what's open, and I'm like, I'm finna get that shot. And I get more than one. She came out so aggressive. Mm-hmm. She wanted smoke. I must have pissed her off on Facebook. So we get to fighting. I hit her with a punch. She went stumbling into the ropes. I ran up to her, punching her again. She fought back, of course. First round, we went back. I was up 10 points, 4. Second round, I was up 10. I probably got 17. The next round, I get up about 22. She gets about good 19.
It was getting close. 19-22.
But the fight ended She had scored 19 points, and I had scored 31.
Going into the last round, any nerves then?
We fighting now. I can see I'm faster than you. I can see I got better combinations. My defense is better. I'm hitting you with big shots. To me, like, this is only fight one. Even though this is number one, this is fight one.
When they raise your hand, you know you won. What's that moment like?
One down, 3 more to go. That's what I was thinking to myself. Like, all right.
That's right. That's the mentality. Let's run through the next 3, because you win this and you qualify for the Olympics.
I beat Andresia Watson again the second fight.
Yeah.
Easy. 14 points, 31. Third fight, I fought against Tika Hemingway. I beat her 15 points to 23. And after the fight, kind of pouting a little bit. They're like, what's wrong? I'm like, I ain't never scored 23 points in my life. Because I'm usually scoring 30, 31 points. It's like, now I got 23. And she had 15 points. She not that good. How she get that many points, you know? I didn't even get hit a lot. I felt like I didn't blow her out because the score was 15 to 23. But in the point system, if you're up 2 points, you're blowing somebody out. He was like, Ress, you just won the Olympic trials. You're ranked number 1 in the country. You're going to the Olympics. Who cares about 15, 23? All that matters is that you got more points than she got. That's it. That's what I wanted.
You're about to be an Olympian. People know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
What's it like at 16 and a half, being a local celebrity, like having people expect from you?
It was annoying. I got asked so many times, even by family, like, hey, did Nike call you and say that they were going to give you $1 million deal? Where's your endorsements? Where's your lavish car? Oh, my God, I haven't even went to the Olympics yet. And I only get paid $1,000 a month. Leave me alone. Maybe instead of 1 pack of noodles, we had 2. I was still in school, having to do classwork, having to go to the gym. It never got hard for me to focus at the gym. It was like Jason always reminded me, like, you need to get bigger and stronger and faster for the girls in the Olympics. You're 5'8 and a half right now. These girls are going to be 6 feet, and especially the other countries. We need to get you faster. We need to get you stronger. We need to work on your defense better. So you don't get comfortable. You keep working. And that's why now in my head after every fight, even though I have some excellent performance, I'm always looking at the footage, not to see how bad I beat a girl up, looking at my mistakes, looking like, oh, you shouldn't have hit with that shot. You know, being more aware. Why didn't you throw this combination? Why was your right hand so loopy? Straighten it out. I go through all this stuff and I write down a list before every fight and I fix whatever my mistakes are.
You got on the Olympic team.
Yeah.
You got your $1,000 a month. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming you got your $10 from Homeboy.
Never. Still owe me. As long as you owe me, I'll never be broke.
What about being a 16-and-a-half-year-old girl? Where's Rel?
We secretly dated, but everybody in the gym knew we dated. In the gym, I was so focused on boxing. Jason didn't care until after the Olympics. That's when he cared.
What about the Olympic team training? Like, you go to team camp now.
Hated it there.
Hated it?
It was terrible. I'm just playing. It was, though. I didn't like it at all. Like, I was in the Olympic training center for 3 months.
And where was it?
Colorado Springs.
Right.
Nobody understood me. I didn't get along with that team till after everything. The Olympic coaches had so much to say about how I box. It was ridiculous. They just would say, her feet are like stones to the ground. She doesn't move her feet. She only moves her head. They would watch me on a bag and try to say stuff like, move around the bag a little bit. And I was used to really working on certain combinations. It's like moving without a purpose for what? It doesn't make sense.
This is your first time not being able to work with your trainer. You're not in your gym. You're not in your city. You're not surrounded by your family. This is an entirely different environment, and everything is hanging in the balance. So there's a lot of adjustments to make.
I was 17, and the last person to qualify for the Olympic trials, they had already been knowing each other and traveled the world together, and I was new. My opinion didn't really matter. I didn't know them, and they didn't know me. I could have been more vocal on some things.
But you had to win the coaches over first.
I never won them over.
Did you feel like they didn't have confidence in your ability to succeed in the Olympics?
They were mad that I beat their fighters.
What do they mean by their fighter if you're all on the same Olympic team? Who's their fighter?
Their fighter who I beat in the Olympic trials.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so some of those coaches were our Olympic coaches.
No.
Yeah, so imagine I was just me mugging his coach, getting ready to fight against his spider, and now he's one of the Olympic trainers.
He's got to coach you.
What a nightmare. I really didn't understand any of their coaching except for Coach Peak and Coach Chase. And they were the coaches that were picked the least to be in the other fighters' corner. And we would sit there with Coach Al, Coach Abdul Bashir, and we would sit there with Coach Peak, also Coach Chase, and we would watch a fight. Some of the stuff that they said, I just was like, not doing that. But I would call Jason right after, say like, hey, they said this and that and that. And Jason would tell me, no, we're not doing that. This is what you're going to do. So I would listen to them and give them my attention, and I would try to implement some of their stuff. But I got to a point where I'm like, if it don't work, it don't work. And I know what works, I'm going to do what works. It wasn't about pleasing them. But Coach Peak understood my boxing, and so did Coach Chase. All those other coaches, they just were like, I don't know, they wanted to do all this slipping and rolling, all these fast punches. And I'm like, you're never going to do that to somebody inside the ring. So why we even, practicing it?
You talking about practice?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like Allen Iverson.
Is there a culture shock happening in the Olympic Village for you? Are you making friends? Are you exposed to anything that you hadn't seen or experienced before?
People start losing the first day of the Olympics. So when they start losing, they start partying.
Right.
So it was some time where I would be asleep and all I would hear was like music and they're dancing. And it was a couple times I looked at my window, I was like, shut up. Stop. I have to fight tomorrow. Like, cut it out. I even had to switch rooms because they were so loud partying, the losers, They were like the Olympian losers. They're still great, right? Which they are. But they were partying. But it's like, I still got shit to do. I wasn't interested in making no friends. I am here for the Olympics. Everything else can wait.
What was it like being received as an Olympic gold medalist, not just an Olympic gold medalist, but the only female Olympic gold medalist, the only American to have a medaled gold in that Olympics, and then you return home to Flint? How has life changed?
I was being judged a lot now about how I talk. How I talk about boxing is what used to throw me for a loop. They want me to talk nice. Like they're like, oh, when you say you like to beat girls up, it makes you look like a bully. And it's like, it's boxing. You're not gonna tell Michael Jordan to say he don't like dunking. So don't sit here and tell me that I can't say I like beating girls up and making them cry. That's what I enjoy about this sport. But they're like, it makes you look like a bully. I'm like, well, Boxing are fighters. A bully is somebody that picks on somebody they know won't fight back. It's a full-blown boxing match with a ref. If somebody's getting beat down too bad, the ref will stop it. So what do you mean I'm a bully? Then I hear people will say, like, she's not getting endorsement because she's not pretty enough. She's too rough around the edges. You think you're going to get endorsement sponsorships, movies, deals, and magazines, and it didn't come. So my life was kind of like at a standstill. I don't even have a dream right now. I don't know what's my next step. Do I turn pro? Do I go back to the Olympics? And I didn't think about the Olympics again until 2.5 years later when I decided, like, I guess I'll try for 2016. It didn't just hit me in the head like, yeah, definitely go back to the Olympics. It was first like, nah, you won the Olympics already. After the Olympics, everybody turned pro, especially when you win Olympic gold medals. So all my peers were turning pro. Rashi Warren, Terrell Gachet, Marcus Brown. I heard about those guys signing every other week after the Olympics. But for me, I'm just sitting back waiting to get the call from Nike, waiting to get the call from Under Armour.
The moment you realize, okay, well, this stuff isn't going to happen, we're a year out now from having won the Olympics, you're 18. Yeah. We're also, apparently, a year prior to what you describe as a breakdown at 19. So what's that year like?
Oh, boyfriends cheating, girls inboxing me saying that my boyfriend was cheating with them. Now I'm going through stupid shit like that. Now I'm going through teenage stuff. Even though I'm Olympic champ, I still, have all this stuff I got to deal with. I'm dealing with friends not wanting to be friends with me no more because we're going out to eat and people walk up to me constantly while we're eating, asking for pictures and autographs. And you got some friends who feel little because of that. And I'm like, I'm a celebrity. That's what they do. Losing friends and then being called bougie because situations that I used to be comfortable in, I'm not comfortable no more. I'm not comfortable with homeboy over there holding a gun. I can't be in the house with him. I'm finna dip. He control all our lives right now. If he just was to lose his mind and start shooting, we'll all be gone.
Mm-hmm.
Me, my purpose, and my life would be gone due to this person who I don't even know. I don't want to be around him. I don't be around her either because she got all this weed and stuff. I don't be around her. So it was just like me. I started making big decisions for my life. I'm not hanging with him. I'm not going to be around that. I was going through all these things, all these emotions, being judged by not only the public, but now by people who I thought was my friends. And I'm like, man, when do I get a break?
Those decisions that you're talking about, you should be rewarded and encouraged for. And nobody is helping you and congratulating you and supporting those decisions, but trying to criticize you for it. You're in a space now where it's more and more isolating at the worst time. Is the decision to go to the Olympics the way you pull yourself out of that?
My life revolved around boxing. We have the first tournament for who's going to be ranked number 1 in the country. Okay, I'll just go to it and I'll be ranked number 1 so I can keep getting my check. It wasn't thinking about the Olympics. He was like, I got to be ranked number 1 to get a check.
That's
so
right.
I'm going to get my check. I was getting paid like $2,000 a month. But when I came back, they're like, since you're a returning Olympic gold medalist, we're going to pay you $3,000. And I was like, oh, shit. Who's going to turn that down? Not me.
Well, what's your coach's thoughts on this now?
Me and Jason wasn't even training together no more.
How did that happen?
I don't know. I just felt like he was just too strict. Like, 19, 20, and he's trying to tell me I still can't date. Like, I'm a grown-ass woman.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes he'd get mad at me at the gym, or if I did bad in sparring, he'd be like, oh, it's because you've been having sex all night. And I'd be like, no, it's not. We just couldn't fix the relationship. So instead of me being, like, mad about it, I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to train somewhere else. And that's what I did.
Heading into your second Olympics, you got swagger now. Now, the first time you're the youngest, nobody's listening. Now you're coming as not only a gold medalist, but the only American boxer who have medaled in the last Olympics. How is the reception and your treatment different?
Everything was different. I was top dog. People came to me with their problems. I was not the oldest on the team, but they used to call me Granny because I'm giving so much advice, helping people adjust to just being in Colorado and being homesick. And it was great. I had a great relationship with my team in 2016. I think the biggest challenge for me was working with Coach Billy Walsh at the beginning because he walks up to me his first day of being our trainer, and he says, hey, I'm Coach Billy Walsh, so you're the champ, huh? And I'm like, yeah, that's me. And he's like, well, let me tell you something. You winning your first Olympics was good and everything, but it's going to be way harder for you to win the 2016 Olympics. And I looked at him and I said, don't you ever say no shit to me like that again. You don't know me. And it's not going to be harder. You want to know why? Because I was 5'8" back then. I'm 5'9" now. I was 158 pounds. I'm a solid 170. I'm stronger, I'm bigger, I'm faster and smarter. It's going to be easier.
And was it?
Yeah. Cakewalk. Sure was. He tried to pick on me a little bit, and you do what the coach say. That was where he came from in Ireland.
Right.
Like he wanted me to stand different and everything. I'm like, man, bitch, you crazy? No, I'm not changing my boxing to please you. No. And he wants to do certain things and was showing us how they train in Ireland. I ain't never been beat by no Ireland fighter, so I'm not worried about no Ireland fighter. I don't want to fight like them. I'm like, I know what it takes to win an Olympic gold medal. I've done it before.
How did it differ returning with your second gold medal?
Way more attention than what it was last time. And now, everywhere I went, it was pictures. And it was that before, but it just became 10 times more.
You get signed and having a fight to always train for or an opponent to get, another camp to get ready for, that gave you an opportunity to not deal with your stuff. While you're having success as a pro, phenomenal success as a pro, are you at all aware that you still have shit you got to deal with?
Now I'm in therapy. I have no shame in saying that. And it's been going well for me. I have not dealt with everything from my past. I don't want it to keep affecting me going forward. So now I'm dealing with stuff that I haven't dealt with in years with me and my therapist. I go through a lot that I don't tell people about. I don't tell social media about. It's just too judgy. People think that you're a celebrity and that you don't go through nothing. And it's like, well, some of us go through more than all y'all. We go through the trauma of our childhood, the trauma of being a woman boxer and having to always fight for what you want.
You said you engage in therapy because you didn't want that trauma to keep affecting you in other parts of your life. How was it affecting you?
Well, with the coronavirus and everything shutting down the world, my life slowed down tremendously. You can't travel. You can't fly nowhere. There's no boxing matches, nothing to keep me occupied. I just was like, what the heck is wrong with me? I got a nice, big 3-bedroom house. Why aren't you happy still? You got to deal with shit before you think that life is going to be all good. You got to deal with it.
You got up to 190 pounds. It's a lot of weight to put on.
Yeah.
That is an indication of depression. What exactly were you experiencing?
Not wanting to get out of bed, not wanting to go nowhere, just crying. And you can't stop. To me, that's a problem. I don't even like crying in front of people. I don't like crying because I'm happy. I don't like crying. It's not my thing. Now I'm crying and I got a walk-in closet and I'm literally in my closet crying for hours. And they're like, you all right? And I'm just like, now that they see me, I'm like, yeah, I'm good. You know, putting back on a smile, but it's like, I'm not happy, but I don't want my sadness to rub off on y'all. I try to keep it together, but like, you got to deal with everything. The reason I'm speaking about how I was raped, because I feel like there's somebody out there who's probably going through worse than me, and they'll hear me say this being who I am, and they'll be like, you know what? Let me go and throw myself into therapy too, and there's nothing wrong with it because she's doing it.
Right.
I'm not a person to just tell the whole world my business. Everybody go through stuff. But who am I to be telling everybody about, oh, I'm going through this? It's like, I'm not a sob story. I'm a story of resilience. I'm not a story of sympathy. Don't ever feel sorry for me. I got me and God got me.
What about the social life? Just being a teenager. Do you feel like you missed anything?
Hell no. No. I had a spectacular life. I went to prom. I went to a Sadie's dance. I went to an 8th grade prom too. Stuff that I didn't care about. I cared about being in a boxing environment, going to the tournaments, coming in first place, being able to watch my footage with my family. I cared about stuff like that. I had to tell people so many times
that I'm not drinking and that I'm not smoking.
It got to a point where I'm like,
you know what? I can't even be friends with you if you do that.
Because they used to have this thing that if we're smoking, when it gets to me, I cannot pass it up.
I'm not going to smoke because y'all dummies is smoking. I don't smoke. That's bad for my lungs in boxing.
And anybody,
Man, well, you can't be down here if you don't smoke.
you know how many blunts I done tore up? Tore up in half? And what they do? Nothing, because they can't whoop me.
There's nothing you can do. She broke the blunt. Is there a specific lane in which you envision what Claressa Shields will mean in history?
People say something about Floyd, but how could you hate somebody who really came up from nothing and made it the way that he did? Burning money or not, you know, or saying some of the crazy stuff he said. But I also like the fact about Muhammad Ali that he stood for something. He stood up for black people. He fought in Africa. He didn't go to the war. He didn't care. He still just like, I'm not going over there to kill other black people. Like, he really stood up for something, inequality and everything. And wanted us blacks to know that we, what do you say? I'm black and I'm pretty. I love that. I want to have both. I want to be impactful on both. I want to help women's boxing. I want to make a lot of money, but I also want to stand up for something and have an impact.
What you need to know is how you affected people. You've made a way for female fighters to see profit in this sport. You've shown that a woman can dominate the Olympics 2 times out.
Period.
And be the only gold medalist. You've raced to become undisputed unified champion in record time. When you see people reacting to you with the pictures and the autographs and screaming when they see you, you're an example of excellence. And through all that you've been through personally, you've managed to keep your wits about you and your focus on the goal, continue to accomplish and achieve. And that's what people are screaming for. They want that for themselves and to see an example of it being done from where you come from, which is considered nothing. That kind of granite resolve that I'm going to overcome these things is more important than ease. You ain't come from ease. You came from hardship, and you built something that was sturdy. And that's part of the reason that you're here with me now, and you're a superstar among superstars. You are one of us and one of them. for that, I appreciate you spending this time with me to talk about it. So Claressa Shields, keep doing what you do. And don't ever forget, you're always one of us and one of them. So I appreciate
my
you.
man. Appreciate you.
Hailing from Flint, Michigan Elementary with an undefeated record versus school teachers and the toughest kids on the block, continuing her education as a professional, fighting misogyny, racism, and defeating female stereotypes, the self-proclaimed greatest woman of all time. The GWOAT, Claressa Shields. To this day, Radio Rahim. To This Day is a Luminary original podcast. It's produced by Pilot Boy and Alex Casnoff for Salt Audio. Executive produced by Dave Chappelle and me, Radio Rahim. Most importantly, I'd like to thank my mom. You may know her as Dr. Rita Muhammad, without whom none of this is possible.
Original audio production, music and sound design by Salt. Executive produced by Pilot Boy. Executive produced by Noah Gersh, Jamie Schefman, Nick Panama, and Kenzi Wilbur. Creative producer, Alex Casnoff. Executive producer, Elliot O'Day. Head of production, Liz LeMay. Head of engineering, Jordan Galvan. Production manager, Allie Strobel. Post coordinator, Alice Bearn. Edited by Geoffrey Mutchnik. Mixed by Salt. Additional editing and sound design by Jasper Van Dijk and Noah Kowalski.